Share my screen now. So we'll finish this letter. This is at the end of Vav. This was a letter that was written, I think, in Vilna, about these Karliner Minyan, the Karliner Minyan that was in Vilna, and punishing the head of it, Isser, and how it seems like one head of it, Chaim, changed his ways. And there's clearly attestation here to public beating, and that there's disagreement, right? The Vilna Gaon wanted to put the person in stocks, and the heads of the city refused, but apparently beating him publicly was okay. I heard from one chacham in our city here, and so I don't know if this is Vilna or Brody. Shamar shtaut nafal b'hataka hanal. That in this letter there's something shtut. There's something maybe it's not true. Shneimar, it says la'el ba ba ba'osios beis aleph. That this claim that they are saying this thing during davening that is feeding the sitra achra, the other side, the satan, and it's ba ba, which are the letters beis aleph. So that's a wrong claim. Tzarich liyot beis hey shebechiluf atbash. So atbash shots. Now the atbash is a so atbash is a code that was used often in Kabbalah, in which the first letter of the alphabet and the last letter of the alphabet are parallel to each other. The second, Beis and Shin, Beis and Shin, and then it should be Gimel and Resh. And sometimes these were used when writing amulets. Instead of writing something in the regular way, you would write it in atbash, meaning you'd use the letter instead of an aleph, you'd use a taf. Instead of Beis, you'd use Shin. Now, Shin Beis, which is an acronym for Shabtai Tzvi, what is that in atbash? That is Beis, right? Shin in atbash equals bet, and tzadi in atbash equals hey. So what they're saying here is that something's wrong with the report, that the Vilna Gaon was upset that they were saying ba ba. Because if he's upset about the historical issue, in other words, going back to the 1600s, there was a claim, I guess, that people were saying ba ba, meaning Beis hey. And that Beis hey, they were saying ba ba because it was Shin Tzadi in atbash. In code, it was Shin Tzadi, which is Shabtai Tzvi. And that Sabbateans would say ba ba, but Beis hey. But so this is saying there's something wrong here because in the letter earlier, in the same letter, the claim that the Vilna Gaon is upset is that they were saying ba ba, meaning Beis aleph, or at least it was written in this letter as Beis aleph. Where was that? Oh, in the letter before this, maybe. The one before this. Now, of course, if you think about it, Beis aleph and Beis hey sound exactly the same. Ba, right? So I think all they're saying here, oh, here it is. All right, Shemat, no, that's not it. Let's see, where was the claim that they were saying ba ba? think it was this letter. It was either this letter or the one before it, but it was in the name of the, oh no, it was the letter before that. It was the one I think signed by the Vilna Gaon, where that's one of the claims is that ba is actually strengthening the Sitra Achra, the Satan, the other side. And so we were a little perplexed, as we were saying before, like, what is this Baba? Who cares when, is that just, what's the issue? So that's what he's saying here. I heard from one scholar here in our city. Now, I think this is the copy you're writing about. He heard from somebody in Brody. That this letter is mistaken. There's something wrong with this letter because it says that the Vilna Gaon was upset that they were saying ba with bet aleph. But in order for it to be what we all know is problematic, it needs to be bet hey. Now, of course, what's strange is if you just hear them saying it, Beis aleph and Beis hey is the same thing, ba. And why is Beis hey an issue? As we just mentioned, because in Atbash, which is the code of aleph taf, Beis shin, which was used in Kabbalistic things and amulets, and part of the criticism that Rabbi Yaakov Emden had of Rabbi Yonasan Eibschitz in accusing him of being a follower of Shabtai Tzvi was some of the things that he wrote in Atbash, in this code. And Shin Sadi, which is an acronym for Shabtai Tzvi, is Bet Hey in Atbash, right? Because Taf Shin, Aleph Bet. Right, so it's equally from the back and the front of the Hebrew language, and Shin and Hey and Tzadi are both 5 letters in from the front and the back of. So the Niran Hadvarim Hayot Kol Pri Machshavtam Hu Lara Liot Tu'utam Ragil Al Lashonam, saying you see that this seems correct. Hayot kol pri machshavtam, everything that they're thinking is bad. Liot seutam ragil al shonam laval yazuru mito avotim. So he's saying, I think what he's saying is that it's the same. That again, I think it's the point that ba and ba are exactly the same. They sound the same. Just because you wrote bet aleph doesn't mean it's not bet hey. It could be bet hey. If anybody says ba, it could be either bet aleph or bet hey. I think what he's saying here is it doesn't matter. The argument that maybe it's okay what the Chasidim were saying because they meant bet aleph and not bet hey. Bet hey would be a reference to Shabtai Tzvi in the code, but bet aleph would not be. First of all, you can't tell from how it's said. Second of all, I don't know what bet aleph means. Tamak l'shanam v'yishtarvavu b'hem tolaim v'yitvadu et chatatam v'fisham. So he's basically saying that in either case it's bad. Shernavdu lata utam b'farach v'harehem sarim mikol haderech. They turn aside from our path. Tocham ha'emet in the aderet. And ktaf surot marim b'galit tzedakah hine achak fira b'tochekam, saying they're the heretics anyway. It doesn't matter whether it's bet aleph or bet hey. In other words, the idea that don't accuse the Chasidim of saying bet hey because it's really bet aleph. He says, who says? And he says anyway they're doing all these other things. He was just saying bad things about them. We'll bring peace. We'll bring truth to light. Yosef Shnot Yado Liknot Sharamo Beit Rishayim Yashmid. The house of the wicked will be destroyed. And the tent of the straight will flower. God should send us our Redeemer, Eliyahu Hanavi Melech HaMashiach, Elijah the prophet and the Messiah. Now, in my own mind, I sort of wonder when it says Eliyahu Hanavi, why is he finishing with God should bring the Messiah? So maybe that's just normal to end a letter with that. On the other hand, who is the Gaon? The Gaon is Eliyahu. The Vilna Gaon is named Rabbi Eliyahu of Vilna. So he wonders this sort of also a polemical move to say, the name the Messiah is going to be Eliyahu. It's not going to be the Chasidim. It's going to be the name Eliyahu, which maybe is a reference to the Gaon of Vilna. So you see that one of the things that you do see here is that even though this whole thing with the codes and Shabtai Tzvi, that's 150 years earlier. Shabtai Tzvi's activity is in the 1650s, 120 years earlier. Shabtai Tzvi becomes a Muslim in 1666. Now, it's true that in 1750, that's when the conflict between Rabbi Yaakov Emden and Rabbi Yonasan Eibschitz was. Rabbi Yonasan Eibschitz is accusing Rabbi Yaakov Emden of being a follower of Shabtai Tzvi in 1750. So that's only 20 years before this. And the Frankists are around. So first of all, it's just amazing. If you haven't studied the whole era of Shabtai Tzvi, it's hard to understand how, even after he became a Muslim, and it was obvious that it was crazy, it held sway for 100 years. I mean, great rabbis were accusing each other of being followers of Shabtai Tzvi. Obviously, it was very serious. It was a serious thing for hundreds of years. People took it seriously, and it was believable that the greatest rabbi of the generation was also a follower of Shabtai Tzvi 100 years later. It's shocking. So the idea that in 1772 they're worried the Chasidim are actually Sabbatians is not crazy, given the lay of the land, given how it feels there in that time. To us, it sounds nuts. It's like accusing somebody today of, I don't know, something they were accusing some, people of 100 years ago. But that seems to be the issue with Ba, is that Ba is not supposed to be spelled Bet Aleph, it's supposed to be Bet Hey. And that's what the Chasidim are saying. And the Gaon, I guess, is accusing them, at least this letter, saying that the Gaon is accusing the Chasidim of saying it because it's really Bet Hey, and that they're praying to Shabtai Tzvi. That seems to be part of the claim. So that's funny because in the rest of Chassidut, I mean, it's true that in Chassidut you find a lot of Kabbalah, which Shabtai Tzvi was oriented around Kabbalah. But certainly on the surface, they don't talk about Shabtai Tzvi. Okay. And this last letter of the book, letter Zion, letter 7, that's the end of that book, is a letter that was written in Leshinov, which is a city near Brody. And it seems to have been a letter that was written for the city, kind of like to publicize basically that Chassidim are bad and you should keep them away. And that's the last letter of this book that was penned. And all these letters are, I guess, from 1772. Leshinov was near Brody, and then there was another city right near there also been mentioned in this letter. I don't think we know, actually. Yeah. Oh, so then it names the heads of the city of Leshinov who kind of wrote this. Which that's the rabbi's Leshinov, which could have. Not all these letters have names on them. Which it makes sense they don't have names on them. I mean, they're like broadsides in a way. Warnings, so if it gets, yeah. Okay, so we will with this last letter next time. Have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.